Welcome to Classes of Mail. Before you listen, you should know that Alan Gigax is not in any sense an official spokesman for the post office, the NALC, or anybody else. His opinions are inherently his own and should probably be disregarded. Same for his guests. Any information you hear on this podcast could be wrong and should not be relied upon for any reason. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Classes of Mail. My name is Alan Gigax, and I am here with Michael Brazenly.
Hi everyone.
All right. And Michael is the special guest today because he has created something that is really helpful for rank and file carriers who are going through the route adjustment process.
I created this before COVID, so it was a while ago.
Yeah, and this is Michael's work by his own hands.
Yep.
And if you want a copy of it, Michael will figure out a way to get a copy of it to you.
Yep.
Yeah, even if it's just scanning it in as a PDF.
Yeah, I think I have it in the computer somewhere because, like I said, I created this like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it's in my hard drive somewhere.
Right. So there have been plenty of episodes on plenty of podcasts, including our own, about preparing for route inspection, what to do during route inspection. But there's been not a lot of talk about afterward.
Yeah.
The review.
Yeah. What should you do after the inspection is done?
Right, exactly. And so we are going to go over, I'm going to read from the document that Michael created, and then Michael's going to kind of expand on
and
these
this
points.
was 6 years old, so there might be some holes in it,
Yeah.
I did what I can. I created these things. I did what I can.
Right. And dude, in a throwback, we're working from actual paper here. So that is something. All right. So this is when management brings you in afterward for that post-evaluation consultation. And it's important as a carrier, don't just throw up your hands and say, oh, screw you. You're going to do whatever you want to do anyway. No, you need to get your objections on file and you need to address these things. Yep. All right. So number one, consult within time constraints. Management must place adjustments into effect within 52 calendar days of the completion of the count. And Michael also has I guess I'll read the citations too. M39 section 211.3. Management must complete all consultations within that 52-day window in a manner that allows full consideration of the carrier's comments and suggestions concerning the evaluation of the route and any proposed adjustments.
So when you get all these carriers asking like, hey, when are they going to do the route change? Well, they have 52 days to do it.
Right. And that's...
Yeah.
And they can't, if they come to you on day 51 and be like, hey, what do you think? That stuff's already laid in and they're not really taking your consultation seriously. So yeah, this needs to be done in a timely manner. Yeah. That's a good one. Off to a good start, Michael. Number two, provide documents in advance. Management must give the carrier the following documents in advance of the consultation regarding the evaluation of the route. A, completed. Go ahead. Yeah.
I hope you got the word must.
I did. I emphasized the word must. Yeah. And Michael's pulling this from the M39. And so it says must in there also. A, completed copies of Form 1838 at least 5 calendar days prior to consultation. M39 section 241.4, M41 section 923.1. All right, so you need time to review this 1838. Make sure it's accurate.
Yeah, so
make sure
management just shows up and says, hey, we're doing a consultation. I'm like, what was all my paperwork that I needed?
Yeah, exactly. You should have gotten that 5 days ago, at least 5 days ago. Right, so if it's Friday, you should have gotten it Monday. Wait, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that would only be 4 days maybe.
Right.
Depending on how you count it. Generally, we count in the post office starting with the next day. So if you get it on Monday, then it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right.
That you should be... Yeah, you should have at least that much time. All right. B, completed copy of front of Form 1840 at least 1 day prior to consultation. This completed copy must contain the following: M31 section 241.4, M41 or M39, and then M41 section 923.1. So this is the route adjustment sheet, right? Or the 1838. No, that's the day they went out with you.
Yeah, 1840 is like
I'm sorry, you're
results.
right. The 1840 is the results. You're right. Thank you. So they have to give that to you at least 1 day before the consultation. It must contain the following: 1, totals and averages from Forms 1838. So all the days that of the full 6 day count, it should have all that stuff on there. All those
averages.
totals. Right. Totals and averages.
Yeah.
2, day of inspection data. So all the notes that person was taking the day they followed you, or if they followed you for 2 days, then both of those days need to be in there. 3, examiner's comments. Guys, you really need to pay attention to these examiner's comments because this is where they say that, oh, the carrier didn't cross this lawn, so we need to add 2 minutes to their route because they should cross the lawn. And you're going to see that and you're going to argue about it. 4.
That's the consultation. You could tell them
that's exactly
bullshit.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. I presume you get into that further on, but just laying the foundation here. 4, analysis of office work functions. So that would be like the 1838C, the things that you do on office time. And again, they may try to disallow certain things. That's what you're looking for, is like disallowing going to the locker room to get your rain gear when we're absolutely allowed to do that.
Or going to the bathroom, or they're trying to...
Yeah. Oh, you went to the bathroom.
Yeah. So that the time doesn't count.
Yeah,
and all that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Yep. Those are all the things, the shenanigans they're going to pull. 5, time recordings. So it'll show like you did this for 2 minutes, this for 5 minutes, all that stuff.
The beginning time.
Right.
And
all
so
that
forth.
should be on the 1840. All right. C, this is, again, stuff they have to give you. Partially completed copy of reverse form 1840 or attachments thereto at least 1 day prior to consultation. It must contain the following. This is the big one. 1, all time disallowances. M39, section 242.347. So this is the shenanigans that they're going to pull. You're going to look through all of those and make sure that there's no bullshit on there.
Yeah. So, when you get the copy of the 1838, okay, that is what the manager put in the computer.
Right.
Okay. That number has to match your 1838C that you got a copy of.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why you get a copy of that, because that has to match the 1830 that management put in. But if the number is put in wrong, you need to notify management, hey, this number is not right.
Yeah.
Because the 1838C says this.
There
because sometimes they're hoping that you don't look at the 1838C and write all their own numbers in there in whatever which way they want.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
You have to check and make sure that 1838C is the same as the 1838.
Yeah, they might also not match because management's incompetent.
That too.
It could be malice. It could be incompetence.
I accidentally hit the wrong key.
Yeah. Either way, you're on the ass end of it, and so this is what you're looking for.
Yep.
And then 2 related comments: M39 section 242.345 and 3 through 347. So the comments are the things the inspector says that, like, you should have crossed the lawn, or this line of travel, whatever the comments are, right? And you're going to take issue with those comments. Go in there ready to fight. Have your coffee that morning. All right. Number 3, discuss certain matters. Management is required to discuss certain matters at the evaluation consultation, including 1, mail volume, M39 section 232.1C. So there are exceptions written right into the M31 that say if the mail volume is unusually high or unusually low, that this needs to be accounted for. And that's something that you may need to bring up. That like, hey, this is a totally substandard amount of mail. This is not representative of what the normal volume is. 2, evaluation of route. M39 section 232.1C. So again, this is what they think of your route, that they think it needs the 15 minutes added, or, whatever it is.
Now, here's the thing. Look at all these things that I have, the M39, M41, all these things and all these rules of what management is supposed to do, right? But if you remember, in the M39 also says the person who's doing the route evaluation should be properly trained and have the full knowledge, the vast knowledge of how to do the route inspection. So if they don't know how to do all this, means they should have never done the route inspection on you.
That is correct.
So that it's something that you can use as a steward to file a grievance saying, why did this person who don't know anything did this route inspection?
Right. And as a carrier, this is all fuel that you're giving for that argument.
Yeah.
All right. 3, any time adjustment to evaluated street time based on alleged improper practices or operational changes. M39 section 242.345.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's sorry, I lost.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
So this is the result of those comments where they say this street took the carrier 10 minutes to deliver, but it should have only taken 6 because the carrier backtracked for a house, or something like that.
But that's a normal thing every day. So they can't be doing that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. These things happen. You can't expect me to deliver perfectly every day. It's just not going to happen. Right. And so this is an unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it actually says in the M39 that says if you do this every day, then that's part of your route.
Well, so it's not like every day you're going to miss a letter for this one particular house.
But it could be at somebody else's house.
Yeah. You're going to miss a letter at some point. Right. And this is part of the shenanigans that management pulls is they do these evaluations based on like optimum conditions.
And there's something on the M41 a lot of people don't know that's in there. You have to make every effort to make sure all the mail that you have in your possession to be delivered. That's including missort mail that's on your route.
I think it also says in there that there's exceptions for backtracking, like you might have a local policy on backtracking. So, I don't know.
But it says you have to make every effort to deliver all this. So if it's a piece of mail that you found, you're like, I got to go deliver it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. 4. Any adjustment of evaluated street time based on a claim that conditions during 8-week time card period or week of count were not normal so as to justify not including such day or days in base street time computation. M39, section 242.346. So this is where management is going to say, this day, like a day that you went long, that day there was rainy, and so that doesn't count. They'll try shenanigans to go the opposite direction. That, we shouldn't use Monday because there was exceptionally high mail count. Yeah, that's what happens on Mondays. And so again, this is where you make those arguments. All right. B. This is, again, things that you're going to discuss. The adjustment consultation. If management proposes relief or addition to your route, including, and this is from M39, section 243.11, 1, the proposed relief or addition. So this is where they tell you, this is the change we're planning on making.
Yeah.
And this is where you argue with them.
That's why they have to give you all the paperwork ahead so that you are so you can see what's going on.
Right.
So when they say that they're going to do this adjustment, then you know why.
Yeah. The reasons for the proposed adjustment. Why they think that this is going to make everything better. This is going to make your route an 8-hour route or whatever it is. And this is where when management pulls that bullshit that, we think your route's 8 hours. We're just going to make an adjustment. Well, we're going to take these 4 cluster boxes off of your route, and then we're going to add these 17 cluster boxes onto your route, and it's going to stay 8 hours. Like, this is where you find out about that crap.
Yeah. And that's when you can also write a statement to the steward, because it is management's responsibility to make sure your route is 8 hours. So when they add all that, they didn't do their job.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then 3, whether the carrier agrees or disagrees. Maybe you get lucky and they say your route can stay as is, or maybe it needs a cut, and then you're going to agree with that. But if you disagree, number 4, the reasons the carrier agrees or disagrees. And they are supposed to take this into consideration. And if they don't, that's a basis for these grievances that are going to come after the fact. 5, the comments and recommendations of the carrier. We know that management totally disregards those, but they're required to consider them.
Yep.
And that's where these grievances come after the fact. So look, if you just sit in there and say, you guys are just going to do whatever you want to do, then there's no fuel for this grievance that comes after the fact. There's no fuel for remedy. And sometimes these remedies get pretty substantial, and you could find yourself on the good end of a, 4-figure grievance that it doesn't give you that time back, but it does help. And all of that needs fuel to sustain it. So this is where all that fuel comes from. All right, number 4, record your recommendations and comments. Management must enter the following on Form 1840, M39, section 243.11. A, your comments, right? So they can't just disregard it. They got to write it down, whatever you said. B, your recommendations. I recommend you roll up that 1840 real tight and cram it up your ass. And they got to write that down.
Yeah.
All right, maybe not do that one. But if you have a recommendation, like for example,
you can say, if you make that adjustment, you add that part to my route, you're not squaring my route, you're making me drive to another part of the route that's not even mine, will cause me to go over 8 hours every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. If that's what you think is going to happen, absolutely. I might give a recommendation on my route. Like I have this section of my deliveries that's just geographically not in line with the rest of my deliveries.
Now, there's that low chance where management actually did it right and squares off the block, and you're like, oh, that would make my 8 hours.
Right.
You can also say on there, yeah, I agree with management that this will make 8 hours for my route.
Right.
Around 8 hours for my route.
Right.
Yeah.
So I might make a recommendation that if you're going to adjust, take this part off because it's outlying anyway, and work in something over here, whatever your recommendations are, they got to write that stuff down, and they're supposed to give it weight. D. The reasons for your agreement or disagreement. Yeah, I think we just covered that. All right. 5, refrain from requiring you to sign anything. Management is not allowed to require you to sign a statement during the consultation. M39, section 243.11a. So there you go. You don't sign.
Yeah, but how many times has management tried to have you sign stuff?
Oh, it happens all the time.
Right.
Just refuse. Like those return to work packets. Okay. 6, like the only thing you have to sign is for your accountables and discipline. And like, that's pretty much it. Those are the only things you sign.
Yep.
6, consult with you a second time. Management must hold a second consultation if adjustments are proposed. M39, section 243.11a. There you go. So
why is the second consultation important?
Tell us.
Well, because when they adjusted the route and you deliver that part of the route, and they found out that, this is getting me into like 10 hours a day.
Right.
That second consultation is to find out if it's an 8-hour route or not.
Ah, there you go. All right. Number 7, consider your suggestions. And again, this comes right out of the M39. Management is required to consider the suggestions from the carrier serving the route. M39, section 243.11c. That's why you give those suggestions.
This sounds like any of this route adjustment stuff is supposed to be done on a regular and not a CCA, not a T6.
Oh, that's true too. Right. Well, in the setup for the route adjustment, it says like either the regular or a qualified replacement should be on the route. So the CCA who happens to be there that week, they are not the qualified replacement. All right,
your
but that's
T6
another
would
issue.
be.
Yeah, your T6 might be. But their time is not your time.
No.
All right. 8, permit notation of absence of documentation of street time disallowances. If management attempts to adjust your street time due to alleged improper practices, operational changes, or claimed abnormal conditions during the 8-week analysis, management must document it on the reverse of the Form 1840 and discuss it with you during the consultation regarding the route evaluation. If management fails to so document, you have the right during the consultation to note the absence of such documentation by writing a notation on and initialing and dating the Form 1880. M39, sections 242.345 and 346.
Yeah, how many times are we going to see that Form 1880?
1840.
Well, because you said 1880.
Oh,
did you read it
I
wrong?
must have misspoke. Yeah, that's all 1840.
Yeah. So 1840, not 1880.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So on the 1840, those are the stuff that you put in to protect yourself. Okay?
Right.
So when they do a route cut or whatever, and there was no
reasoning for why they disallowed it or why they're saying this doesn't count.
Now it becomes grievable.
Right. And this is all grievance fuel. Right. And by the way, if I did say 1880, that's why my wife says at the beginning of the episode that this should not be relied upon for any reason. Right. These citations, go look them up yourself. 9, disallow street time adjustments if documentation is not provided to carrier within 1 week of notation by carrier. If you make a notation on the Form 1840, as noted above, about the absence of documentation supporting a management time disallowance, management has 1 week to supply such documentation to you. If management fails to do so within 1 week, the time adjustment shall be disallowed. M39, sections 242.345 and 346.
That's very important.
That is super important because that's a slam dunk right there. If they say that, this heavy week didn't count for whatever stupid reason, we're not going to use that, and they don't have a reason, then that's it. They don't get
for
to
a week,
disallow
then they
it.
can't, and then they can't use that.
Right.
Yep.
They can't. Yep, that's exactly right. All right, 10. Provide completed copy of reverse of Form 1840 promptly after consultation. Promptly after consultation, if the carrier requests that the reverse of his or her copy of Form 1840 be completed, the carrier must immediately give the copy to the manager for completion and return no later than 7 calendar days. M39, section 243.11a. So, there's a paper trail for all of this, and you have a right to these documents. You should make every effort to show your Forms 1838C, 1838, and Form 1840 to your NALC representative prior to the consultation. So your stewards should be trained up on this as well, because you guys know that route adjustments are coming, that this 6-day count is coming, and your steward needs to be trained up on what to look for.
So you can look at the 1838C and 1838 to make sure those numbers match. And then any averages, make sure the average times are average
actually
and not,
math out.
Yeah, the math comes out right. And then if the math is really wrong, then you need to bring that up.
And your steward should be giving you advice that like, hey, this is something that you're going to want to make sure you mention. Hey, they didn't put a comment here. Make sure you bring that up, stuff like that. Your union representatives can help identify any problems or mistakes on the forms. You will thereby be in a better position to protect your rights at the consultation, like we just said. Hey, it's like Michael knew this stuff. Yeah, good job, Michael. If you cannot obtain an NALC review in advance, don't panic. There will be time afterwards to address any problems. All right. And that ends the checklist. And then you have this like revised checklist at the bottom, this easy reference sheet.
Explanation for like to watch out for.
Yeah. Kind of so it says, remember, completed Forms 1838 5 days in advance. Completed front of Form 1840 1 day in advance. Partially completed reverse of Form 1840 1 day in advance. Full discussion at consultation. Management writes your comments on the Form 1840. There's no requirement for you to sign. You write on Form 1840 in the absence of documentation. Request a completed copy of the front and reverse sides of Form 1840. Management has 7 days to return documentation and Form 1840. Management is not allowed to require you to sign a statement during your consultation.
Okay. One of the biggest thing is on the 1840.
Yep.
Many times, management will only give you the front copy and never the reverse copy, because the reverse copies shows that you can do all the stuff.
Right.
And they don't want you to see that.
Right.
So you have to make sure that
front
to
and
get
back
the front
of the
and back of the 1840.
Yep.
If you do not receive it, you need to let the steward know to file that grievance, because that means they're trying to hide something.
Right. So for me, I'm not going to be present for my route inspection because of my kidney surgery. And so when I come back, I'm going to be going over those 1840s with a fine-tooth comb, because who knows what shenanigans they're going to pull when I'm not there, and what they're going to say that this segment is this and that segment is that. And like, dude.
Yeah. Well, on that point, management can reschedule your 6-day count.
Yeah, they may do that.
Just for you.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly willing to be special. Yep. All right, so that's our advice. And Michael, if somebody wants a copy of that, by the time this airs, you'll have it.
Obviously, they can notify with the classesofmail.gmail.com.
Yeah, classesofmail@gmail.com. And by that time, like, I'll have a file that I can just email to you.
Right. Or you can text me with your email address at my 702-724-6355.
Right on.
And then I'll try to get it. Now, for the first few people that sends it, I would have to go find it. So it may take a couple days.
Well, by the time this releases, this is your chore between when we recorded this and when this episode releases.
Yeah. If not, I can just scan it in.
Yeah.
And that'll work too.
Right. You'll at least have a PDF to send. Yeah. Which should be fine. All right. That's all we got. We made good time on this one.
No, we're missing something.
What?
You forgot the third page.
There's a third page?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That one. That one sheet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Hold on. I'm off mic. Hold on. I forgot the third page.
Yeah.
Okay. The third page is
for steward, basically.
For the steward. Yeah. But these are the questions you want to be thinking about. So this is a steward interview of the carrier after the route inspections to make sure that everything was done properly.
Carrier, or I thought the
interview. Did you perform a route inspection dry run exercise
to the management?
Are you sure?
I think that's.
I don't think so. I think this is for the carrier to make sure that everything was done properly. So this is a good way to document any improprieties.
Oh, yeah.
In the okay, so your steward may not have an interview question like this. Although if you're getting these copies from Michael, you'll have them. You can just hand it to the steward. Hey, ask me these questions.
Right.
Okay. So the questions are. Did you perform a route inspection dry run exercise? So this is where you practice filling out the 1838C.
And everybody's supposed to practice that before the inspection.
Right. And that's all done on the clock. And that's something the whole station is doing. They do your dry run so that you know how to fill out the forms. All right. So did you perform a dry run? Did you receive the yellow copy of the 1838C form each day? Are there any that you did not receive? There you go, because that's an issue. If they're not showing you the documentation, it's probably because they're up to no good or they're incompetent or both.
Yeah.
Did you observe any difference? I love this one. Did you observe any difference in the clerk's operations during the week of route inspections? Yeah, I did. Normally, my parcels aren't ready until 9 o'clock, but during inspection, they were ready as soon as I clocked in every day. That's the kind of stuff that you need documented because when the steward files that grievance, this is what we're going to point to. And when the steward has 38 statements that all say, yeah, normally the parcels aren't done, but today, they were done every time, that's important. All right. Did you receive or perform any auxiliary assistance during the week of route inspection? If so, which days? So if you're an 8-hour carrier, that may be an issue. I seem to remember there's some kind of exception for being an 8-hour only during route inspection.
Yeah, because they can make up the time on the ones that they didn't do on a different day.
Yeah, well, so maybe I'm wrong on this. Listen to my wife, right? Don't believe whatever I'm saying. But I seem to remember that, like, if you're an 8-hour carrier, during the week of route inspection, you may still have to work overtime because they want you to complete your whole route.
And so it's a agreement with the UN.
Yeah, right. That we kind of waive it during this period because it's just necessary.
Right.
Like, it's inevitable because you're going to be counting your mail for a half an hour.
Right.
And so your route's going to be 8.5 hours if it's 8 hours. Right. Pro tip, if you count your mail for a half hour and you still get done in 8 hours.
That means you did in 7.5 hours.
Yeah, you did. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And the...
so the exception is like if you're 8-hour medical, you can't go over, then they're going to have you curtail the end of your route and you're going to pick up where you left off the next day so that they can see how long each segment of your route is.
Right.
All right. While being observed during route inspections, did you receive instructions to alter the way you perform your duties? They are not supposed to do that. And if they're instructing you, that's a problem. Dude, these are such good questions, Michael. Do you feel as though you were ever harassed or treated improperly by any form of management or route examiner during the route inspection week? If so, when? Please explain. It's a good one, dude. Because you know what happens.
Out in the street, somebody might say, well, you can't be doing it that way. You can't be doing that way.
Yeah. Hey, you need to walk faster. Any of that stuff. Yeah. Get that stuff documented.
Yep.
Did you receive notice 24 hours or more in advance for any and every day you had an examiner travel along and observe you? If not, which days were you not notified? I didn't know about that. Did they have to tell you, like, we're going to observe you on Wednesday?
Yeah. So what that is the management is supposed to make a schedule. Okay, because they have up to 3 days to walk with you.
Yeah,
up to 3 days.
Right. It doesn't. Okay? It could be 1. It could be 2. It could be 3.
So they're supposed to have a schedule. Okay. Right. So if they don't notify you like at least a day in advance, that becomes a grievance. Because,
good to know.
Because most 6-day counts, they'll put a schedule and say, hey, we're gonna we're gonna follow you for these 3 days. They have up to 3 days to follow you.
Yeah.
So out on a 6-day count, they can follow you up to 3 days. Okay, they can follow 1 day if they want. Okay, but they have to follow one of those days. Okay,
right,
and they have to make a schedule. And if they forgot to give you a schedule, at least they have to notify 24 hours in advance.
Right. Yeah, there you go. And so when you're going out with that route examiner, it's a good idea to have like a $5 bill in your pocket. Just hand it to them. Hey, keep it fair. Keep it fair.
Yeah, that will be bribe, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, you're probably right. And then last, is there anything you would like to add or would like me to know? And so that's always a good good catch-all. Dude, very good work, Michael.
Yeah. So here's the thing. These are questions for each carrier.
Right. Every single carrier should be answering these questions.
And so it's up to each carrier to follow these rules after the route inspection is done. But here's the funny part about this. If you start doing it, who's listening to this?
Right.
If Alan starts using this, I keep using this, and people start using it, they see the route inspection and this is what's going to happen. And that you know more than the manager.
Right. If you listen to Classes of Mail, you know more than your manager.
Yeah. So you're already going to look like king because at first you know that where management violated the rules.
Right.
So you're already check marking all the stuff that management violated.
Right.
And then you're notifying your steward that, hey, these are the violations.
Yep.
So they cannot change my route.
Yeah. It makes everything easier for your steward.
Because you can make it resolve saying, hey, management did it wrong.
Yeah.
Management had no clue what they were doing because obviously they didn't know what they were doing because they can't even provide the paperwork correctly.
Right.
So they can't adjust my route.
Yeah.
That would be the result.
It's a flawed process.
Put it back the way it was.
There you go. Dude, what a mess management makes.
So, this is some way to protect your route.
Yeah.
Also.
All right.
If they do everything properly, be great.
So be
then your route would be 8 hours.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that there are no routes that need to be added to. There are, like Michael's route.
Actually,
yeah.
I'm not going to argue.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's all we have for today, guys. Thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you all next time.